Hello, good afternoon. How are you guys? So, today we're going to talk about something a little bit different. We're going to talk about the disappearance of Asha Degree. Now, those of you that don't know the story, Asha Degree is a 9-year-old girl who, on February 14th, 2000, walked out of her house at they said anywhere between 2:30 a.m. and 3 a.m. that day. Now, motorists have reported seeing her on the highway at that time, but doing the research, it was really dark and foggy, so I don't know how they were able to see her. But now there's been an update, and the update is what we're going to be talking about. And they're claiming that they have found her after all these years, but it has not been in the news yet. And the reason why it has not been in the news yet is because they are not 100% sure it's her. So they don't want to put out false information, because if they come out here and say without a doubt it's her when it's not, they don't want to look stupid and they don't want to look foolish. So we're going to watch little videos so you guys can get caught up on her story if you're new to it. I've been following this, and bless the mother. I mean, the mother, Asha's mother, always hoped and prayed that she was still alive, but being gone for as long as she has, we all know there's no chance of that happening. But as a parent, you hope, you pray, that's what you want, and I understand that as well. From what I from what I have noticed, when I do these true crime cases, when I cover them, what I've noticed is that whenever there's somebody missing, they usually are they usually find them dead not too far from where they came up missing at. It's really sad, but that's just, the way that, it is. And I just don't, I just cannot wrap my head around the fact that she just walked out of her house at 2:30 a.m. and the police said that she packed her own bag the night before. So was she running away? Was she meeting somebody her family didn't know about? Why would she just walk out of her house at 2:30 in the morning? That's the biggest mystery. We will probably never know the correct answer for that. So, for those of you that are replying to my comments, I'm live right now if you want to come to my live stream. So we can talk about it. But this case is just really sad because, um, hang on. Excuse you. It better be. I just paid for this. Sorry, give me 1 second. Oh, I just paid for this. Why? No, it's not what I wanted. Okay, let me focus. All right, so give me 1 second and I will pull up a video and we can watch it together. Did I get the wrong plan? Okay, yeah, I can't do that. Okay, so before we get started on this video, I want to read an article to you guys that I found that I thought was quite interesting, and I want to hear your guys' opinion on this. Okay, so what I'm looking at right now is an inmate says he knows what happened to Asha Degree. For couples around this country, Valentine's Day, and I hate Valentine's Day. That's like the worst holiday ever. And day includes flowers, candy, and expressions of love. For one Falston family, the day marks a painful anniversary, and the day a 9-year-old girl vanished. Local, state, and federal investigators continue to try and solve the mystery of Asha Degree's disappearance, and they may have a new lead. A prison inmate recently sent a letter to the Star in which he says he knows what happened to the fourth grader nearly 21 years ago. Marcus Mellon wrote to the news outlet to say that the child was killed and he knows how and where to find her. Mellon, 53, was convicted of sex crimes against children in Cleveland County in 2014. In his letter to the Star, Mellon says he has information and asks that it be passed along to the FBI. Mellon asked investigators to come see him to find out what happened. Here is what he wrote. Asha Degree has been missing for over 20 years. About 4 months ago, I had found out her whereabouts and what had happened to her. She was killed and then took and buried. I do know how and what town she is in. I hope you get this letter and do come see me. It's on the up and up. Delayed visit. Cleveland County Sheriff Alan Norman said the tip will be followed up on, but an obstacle will slow the process. Mellon is serving nearly 14 years in prison and is housed at Alexander Correctional Institute. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think he actually knows what happened to her, or do you guys think it's just his way of trying to get out of prison sooner than that? So with that being said, this is a really great channel. It's called Black Girls Gone, and they cover cases like this, and they cover African American cases strictly. I will show you the channel so you guys could go over there and sub to it, but I recommend this channel.
On this episode of Black Girl Gone, I tell the story of Asha Degree, a 9-year-old girl from Shelby, North Carolina, who disappeared on February 14th, 2000. Her disappearance sparked a widespread investigation that captivated the entire community where she lived. But the case remains unsolved to this day, leaving many questions unanswered. The circumstances surrounding her disappearance and the subsequent efforts to find her have left both her family and investigators baffled. Over 23 years later, the people who loved Asha are still looking for those answers. What happened to Asha? And who is responsible for her disappearance? This is Asha's story. Telling the stories of the missing and murdered will always be difficult, but when it involves a child, it's a little bit more difficult. This week, we delve into a puzzling case of Asha Degree, a young Black girl whose vanishing remains a mystery to this day.
Hi, Jason. How are you? Welcome in. Welcome in. So we're talking about the disappearance of Asha Degree.
As we explore the details of this heartbreaking story, my goal, as always, is to help bring attention to these stories, even ones that have gotten a lot of attention. Asha's disappearance is one that demands our attention as we continue to strive for answers and resolution for her family. Asha Degree was a bright and cheerful girl who lived with her parents, Harold and Aquila Degree, and her older brother. Born on August 5th, 1990, Asha had a love for basketball and excelled in school. She was known for her quiet and shy nature, and she was adored by her family and friends. In the year 2000, Asha was a fourth grade student at Falston Elementary. At Falston, she played basketball for the school and was just an all-around good student. She was often selected.
Hello, James Daves, and welcome. So we are watching a little video on the disappearance of Asha Degree. There's been an update, so we'll talk about the update a little bit later. I think it's mainly, it hasn't really been on the news yet because I don't think they're 100% sure that it's her. And they can't be like, oh, well, it's her, and then announce it, and then it ends up not being her, because then that'll make them look like idiots. And we don't want the newscasters, to look like idiots. We need to know that they know what they're talking about. I hope, yes, I kind of hope and pray that it is only for the family's sake so they can at least, get closure. But my whole thing with the her whole disappearance is, why would a 9-year-old girl just decide to walk out of her house, at 2:30 in the morning to never be seen again? Was she meeting someone that, did she have a friend that the family didn't know about? Because doing research on this, it looks like she led a pretty decent, happy, normal family life. So, what would make her just want to get up one morning and say, I'm leaving? She packed a bag the night before. Was she running away? Was she coming back? What was her whole mindset of why she left? But, I don't think that we'll ever get, the true answers to that question.
It is Student of the Week. Her favorite subjects were math and science, and when she got older, she dreamed of attending Winston-Salem University, where she wanted to study science. Now, not many 9-year-olds know what college they want to go to, but Asha had big plans. She wanted to be a writer and an illustrator. The Degrees were a close knit family who were actively involved in their church community. Asha's mother and father tried their best to protect their children from the evils of the world. They were only allowed to watch certain TV shows.
No, she wasn't taken from the house because the police said when they got there that there was no signs of forced entry. And they said that she walked out of the house on her own volition. But when I was doing my research on this case, they also said that it was really dark and rainy that day. And the reason why this is of importance is because two motorists said that they had seen her. Now, it's imagine that it's 2:30 a.m. in the morning. I don't know anything about the South and or how dark it really gets at that time of night, but they said it was really foggy and it was really raining. So how can the two motorists claim they seen her? Did they really see her? Because I don't know if those two sightings have ever been confirmed. And the way that her stuff was, scattered everywhere, like in the shed, and then her backpack was found. I think they said, was it 140? Yeah. So how could they have seen her? If it's very dark. And then they found her backpack, I think they said 100 miles away, with the shirt that wasn't hers, and her name and stuff in it. But when I do these cases and when the outcome comes, most of the time the people that disappear, they find them dead not too far from where they disappeared from. So I don't think that she's that far away from where she disappeared from. I think that maybe the backpack was trying to throw investigators off, but I really don't believe that it was that far from where she went missing from. I could be wrong, but it's just my theory.
Shows, and the family did not have a computer because they were afraid of predators gaining access to the children. In the neighborhood the family lived in, there were also several of the Degrees family members that lived close by, who the family was also very close with. Asia and her brother were surrounded by family, but even still, their parents were very cautious. When they played outside, they were only allowed to go but so far. Because both of their parents worked, Aisha and her
Oh,
brother
really?
would come home by themselves after school and would stay alone until their.
Okay, so let me see if I can pull up her where she used, because I don't think they live there anymore, do they? But let me see if I can find pictures of her. Yeah, that's what I mean. For no reason, Jason. And she was 9 years old. So, James, I know, I think it was either that day or the day before. Asha had a basketball game and she fouled out of that basketball game. Do you think that she blamed herself so much for the team's loss that she just decided to run away? Because the cops seem to think that her losing that game is what drove her to want to walk away. But she's 9 years old. How would a 9 year old think to walk away? Oh really? Okay, I'm gonna see if I can pull up her, or I should be able to go to Google Maps. I'm letting you guys know now. I'm not very good at reading maps. But I'm gonna see if I can try to pull up her picture on Highway 18. Really? Okay, let's see. Okay, here we go. Okay, I got it. Okay, I got it. Okay, so what we're looking at right now is we're looking at the general area where Asha went missing at. So I'm not very good at reading maps, but something this simple I can definitely read. So, oh really? I mean, James, what do you think? Do you think that it's her? There's a Facebook group that I'm in that deals with nothing but her, and it's called the Asha Degree Facebook page. And that's the we were saying yesterday, and people were asking, there's rumors out there, has she been found? And a lot of people in the group said yes and no. So the yes part being they think they have, but the no part being they're not sure, because that's why it hasn't been in the media yet, because they're not 120% sure it's her yet. And you don't want to give the family and the public false hope. Okay, so let's look at this map. Oh man, what happened? Oh, really? The man that owns the property that was raided was headmaster at a school I went to when I was 17. He was, let's say, creepy. Okay, so what kind of property was it? Was it like a duplex, or was it like a home? And they didn't go into detail about what kind of property it was on the group in the group. Oh, it was a home. Yeah, they don't cover. It's not out yet, Jason, because I don't think they're 100% sure it's her yet. So they can't give the public and the family false hope. They don't want to look like idiots, so they have to be sure that it's her before they can make that announcement. Okay, so let me ask you this, James. Do you know how close it was to where she lived at, and was it near where she disappeared at from? Like, was it near her home in the woods? Oh, really? I had a paralegal buddy search North Carolina warrants, etc., under the man's name. No charges yet. From what my sister said, it wasn't far. Oh, wow. See, I was right. Okay, so what we're looking at, I believe this is where she lived, somewhere around here. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then I think this is the area where that shed was, where they found her. I think it was a hair tie they found, and it was something else that they found. Within 2 miles, yeah. Welcome. I'm not even going to try to say your name, so you are welcome. Within 2 miles. So, yes, I believe this is where she lived. See, I mean, judging by this, I don't know when it gets dark, how are you going to be able to see anybody walking alongside this? But with the roads being that close, it is possible that those two people could have seen her. So do you guys think that Asha was a runaway, or do you think that she was kidnapped? She clearly was meeting somebody she knew and that she felt comfortable enough with to leave her house at 2:30 in the morning. Oh yeah, that says a lot. Wow. Property owner that was raided had animal cruelty charges not long ago. Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. I think that she may have been kidnapped by somebody that she knew and that she trusted. That's the only thing that makes sense as to why she would leave her home at 2:30 a.m. Because the police said that when they found her backpack, they were saying as they dug deeper into the investigation that she had packed the bag the night before. But the main question is, okay, they found a New Kids on the Block t-shirt, and they said there was a picture of another girl that was not Asha in there as well. So, and the mother said that she never owned a New Kids on the Block t-shirt. So who was the other girl that's never been identified, and whose t-shirt was that if that was not Asha's? Really? So let me ask you guys this. Do you think, okay, so honest answers from you guys. Do you think it's possible the parents had something to do with this? That cleared the parents, but I want to see if you guys think they might have had, something to do with her disappearance. Because she left that late at night. What is a 9-year-old leaving at 2 in the morning for? On her own. There is no sign of a break, and the cops said there was no broken windows, and the front door was jammed with. So she left on her own free will. They cleared the parents, but she had to have left. I think she was meeting somebody that she didn't want her family to know about. She might have had a secret that she didn't want her family to know about, and she probably thought that she trusted this person. Yeah. I feel really, really bad for her mom because after all this time, she was still hoping and praying that she would find Asha alive. And in most cases, they don't. And do you guys know if they still live in that same house? Yeah, that's an interesting point, Jason. Oh, really? How long has it been? See, 2000, and it's now 2024. So about 24 years. But her mother was hoping and praying they'd find her alive. But if you're missing for this long, chances are they won't find him alive. Yeah, 24 years. So are they still living in that house? The parents living in that house or no? Because the son should be grown by now too. It's really cool that they could do this. Oh, so yes, let me explain this. Okay, so this right here, they are saying that someone saw Asha get into a 1973 Lincoln Mark V or a 1973 Ford Thunderbird. There are some witnesses claiming that they saw her get into this type of a vehicle. Do you guys think that's a valid lead? Yeah. Yeah, because I haven't looked at this in a while either. I just did that video because I was over there in the Facebook group and they were talking about they think they might have found her. So do you think this lead may have been valid with the car? Yeah. Maybe the neighbor in the house where they raided, they need to check to see if he owns one of these type of cars. Oh, okay. Yeah, so they said they saw her getting into a car. I think I read somewhere too that she wanted to see her grandmother, and they weren't getting along with her for some reason. So she might have been sneaking out to see her. And I think the grandmother lived either next door or like two doors down. I could be wrong though. Yeah, so the witnesses say they saw her get into this vehicle, get in this type of a vehicle. They need to see if that man owns a vehicle like this. Yeah, but once they clear the parents, once they clear mom and dad, they're not going to keep looking for mom and dad. And this is why, there's a lot of people that, say cold cases never get solved. They do. Investigators don't forget about cold cases. Investigators, they go all the way back to 40 years. They try to solve a murder. It's just that they either don't have the manpower, or something else comes along. Because back then they didn't, I think DNA was just coming out back then. I've seen, what fascinates me is when they can solve murders and disappearances from, the 1920s or 30s, with the technology that we have now, and they can solve cases that far back. But a lot of people get mad at the investigators, but it's mostly because they don't have the manpower, and they can't constantly be working on the case when they have other cases that they have to look at as well. But it doesn't mean that they forget about them. They just put them aside, and that's fascinating to me. So a lot of people think that these kind of cases are forgotten, but no, they're not. It's just they have other cases that they have to look at, which is understandable. Okay, so oh really? They brought in special trained dogs to search? Okay.
from staying up late with her cousins. And so when she got home, she took a nap at around 6:30 p.m. It had been raining that night, and the sounds of the thunder awoke Aisha from her nap. Her family said that around 8:30 p.m., after she woke up, she joined her mom and brother in the den where they were watching TV. Harold, Aisha's father, was at work that evening, and so at first it was just Aisha, her mom, and her brother at home. As the evening progressed, the storm outside intensified, and it created an eerie backdrop for what was going to happen that night. At around 9 p.m., the bad weather had caused a car accident.
See, that's the thing. If the weather was that bad, that brings me back to the two motorists that claim that they saw her. If the weather was that bad, how were they able to see Asha in the dark like that?
Nearby. The car hit a utility pole, causing the power at the Degree home and several others in the area to go out.
I will be right back.
So the family lit candles, and Aisha's mom lit a kerosene heater so they would stay warm while they waited for the power to be restored. She said in a later interview that her sister and her kids, who lived across the street, came over and stayed with them during the blackout. Aquila said that around 9:30, she told the children to go to bed. And she said a few hours later, at around 12:30 in the morning, the power was restored. Now, Aisha's dad arrived home sometime later that evening after the children were already asleep, according to reports. Harold said that he stayed up until about 2:30 a.m., but he said before he went to bed, he went into his children's room and both Aisha and her brother were sound asleep. Now, sometime after that, Aisha's brother said that he heard her get up to use the bathroom. Now, what time it was exactly isn't clear, but if we're going with the father's timeline, then it was sometime after 2:30 in the morning. Her brother said that he heard Aisha when she returned to their room and heard a noise that sounded like her bed squeaking from her getting back in. After that, he fell back asleep. And then after that, at some point in the early hours of Monday, February 14th, Aisha, for reasons that are still unknown, left her home without a trace. Now, that morning, shortly before 6 a.m., Aisha's mother woke up and went into her children's room to wake them up for school. Now, her son was fast asleep in his bed, but when she looked over at Aisha's bed, she wasn't there. When the Degrees discovered that she was missing, panic immediately set in. They started frantically searching the house and the surrounding area, but they could not find Aisha anywhere in or immediately around their house. They called around to family members that lived nearby to see if maybe she had gone to their house, but no one had seen her. Her parents, now fearing the worst, called 911. Police arrived shortly before 7 a.m., and the initial search focused on the Degree residence and the immediate vicinity. After looking through Aisha's room, her family discovered that Aisha's sneakers were missing, along with a pair of jeans, her backpack, and a Tweety Bird purse her teacher had given her. Police had quickly determined that there had been no forced entry when there was no evidence that a crime had taken place inside the house. Law enforcement began combing through the dense woods and fields that surrounded the family home, hoping to find any signs of Aisha. But the stormy weather from the night before had complicated the search efforts, making it difficult.
Okay, so my thing is, if she wasn't found far from where she lived from, then what was the purpose? Why did they find her backpack? Like, I think they said 100 miles from where she lived. Yes, hopefully it be solved soon.
Difficult for search teams to navigate the rugged and muddy terrain. The local authorities had immediately begun actively searching for Aisha, launching the largest search in the county's history at the time. But as the hours passed, the search for Aisha intensified. The information about her missing began spreading, and the local community rallied together because they were determined to find her. Volunteers from all over came forward, offering their time and resources to assist in the search efforts. Together, these volunteers formed search parties and combed through dense forests, fields, and abandoned buildings, hoping to uncover any sign of Aisha. As part of their search, they also distributed flyers and posted missing person posters to raise awareness about her disappearance. Their efforts galvanized the community and united them in a common goal to bring Aisha home safely. It didn't take long for the media to get wind of the disappearance, and they quickly began to spread information about Aisha's disappearance to a wider audience. And as news of her disappearance spread, the media coverage quickly
I don't know. That's a good question. If they did, it would probably be only her footprints.
ramped up. Local newspapers and television stations in and around Shelby began reporting on the case, sharing details about Aisha's disappearance and urging the public to come forward with any information. The story captured the attention of the surrounding communities, stirring up a mixture of both fear and concern. Reporters interviewed Aisha's family and friends, and those interviews helped to shed light on her personality and daily routines. Pictures of her smiling face were plastered across newspapers and broadcasted on television screens. And as the media coverage continued, it became clear that Aisha's disappearance was not going to fade away quickly. The increased attention from the media sparked an outpouring of support from the public, with many more individuals joining the search efforts and offering their assistance. The media coverage in those early days played a crucial role in raising awareness about Aisha's disappearance and mobilizing the community to come together in the search for answers. In the hours that followed Aisha's mysterious disappearance, the search for answers reached a fever pitch. Despite relentless efforts and widespread searches, investigators found themselves in a nail biting pursuit. No clues, no leads, and the mystery was deepening. But the urgency to unravel the truth became more.
Okay, I'm gonna read an article for those of you that weren't here in the beginning that I saw when I was gonna do this as a part two, but I think I'll just do it now. So it says an inmate says he knows what happened to Asha Degree. Um, for one Falston family, the day marks a painful anniversary. The day a 9-year-old girl vanished. A prison inmate recently sent a letter to the Star in which he says he knows what happened to the fourth grader nearly 21 years ago. Marcus Mellon wrote to the news outlet to say that the child was killed and he knows how and where to find her. Letter to the editor. Mellon, 53, was convicted of sex crimes against children in Cleveland County in 2014. In his letter to the Star, Mellon says he has information and asks that it be passed along to the FBI. Mellon asked investigators to come see him to find out what happened. Here is what he wrote. Asha Degree has been missing for over 20 years. About 4 months ago, I had found out her whereabouts and what had happened to her. She was killed and then took and buried. I do know how and what town she is in. I hope you get this letter and do come see me. It's on the up and up. Delayed visits. Cleveland County Sheriff Ellen Norman said that the tip will be followed up on, but an obstacle will slow the process. Mellon is serving nearly 14 years in prison and is housed at Alexander Correctional Institute, where there currently is a COVID-19 outbreak. Norman said that investigators from his department and the FBI will interview Mellon when the situation at the prison is under control. Though the child vanished more than 20 years ago, tips still get reported. According to the FBI, 45 came in last year. Whether or not Melton actually has knowledge of what happened to Asha, Norman said all tips are investigated. The sheriff did note that sometimes inmates have ulterior motives, such as bargaining for treatment during incarceration. We treat every piece of information that we receive as good information until we prove otherwise. So, what do you guys think? Do you guys think he actually knows what happened to her, or do you guys think that he was just said that because he's trying to cut down on his time? I found that rather interesting.
More important than ever. In the early morning hours of February 14th, 2000, 9-year-old Asha Degree disappeared from her home in Shelby, North Carolina. As the search to find her continued, reported sightings and clues left behind would only create
Yeah,
more questions.
I agree.
As one day turned to two and then three, the search for Asha had expanded beyond Shelby. Flyers with her picture were distributed across the state, and news outlets all over North Carolina had picked up the story. Found several suspicious items in their shed. The family said that they had found the items on February 15th, the day after Asha was reported missing. Inside the shed was a Mickey Mouse hairbow, candy wrappers, a pencil, a pen, and a picture of an unidentified little girl. When the items were collected by police, it was discovered that the candy wrappers matched candy that Aisha had been given at school for Valentine's Day a few days before, and her parents confirmed that the hairbow and pen that she had gotten on a family vacation did belong to her. But the discovery raised questions about why she would have been in the shed. Had she gone in there to get out of the
Yeah, I
rain after
can
leaving
imagine.
home? And was she alone? Detectives brought out bloodhounds, but they were unable to pick up Aisha's scent. After discovering those items in the shed,
Okay, so that's the thing. If bloodhounds were not able to pick up her scent, did they say where her scent stopped at? That's the thing. Did they say at all where it started at or where it stopped at? I don't know if I heard that part. But you have to consider that sometimes inmates really do know what happened, and if that, they, like investigators say, they have to go over every tip that they get. But it's just weird that he would just come out and say that now after 20 years. Yeah, it's kind of hard not to believe him. I think he just wanted his 15 minutes of fame.
the theory that started to gain traction was the possibility that Aisha had just simply run away from home. Some speculated that she may have been unhappy or facing an unknown threat, prompting her to flee in the middle of the night. This theory, however, clashed with the image painted by family and friends of a content and well adjusted child. As investigators delved into Aisha's life, searching for any signs of issues or a motivation to run away, they found no conclusive evidence. The lack of a clear motive or indication of any unhappiness challenged the runaway theory, leaving many, including detectives, to grapple with the unsettling reality that the young girl had seemingly vanished without a trace. As the weeks turned into months, the small town of Shelby dealt with the emotional toll of Aisha's disappearance. The once thriving community found itself haunted by the uncertainty, with every missing child poster serving as a stark reminder of a young girl who had become a symbol of the unknown. The search efforts continued, with volunteers joining law enforcement and scouring the area.
I mean, it is quite possible she ran away. I mean, and that's like the only explanation that I can come up with. It's quite possible that she ran away, and I don't. I'm stuck between her. My two theories are either she ran away. My second theory is I think she may have had a friend that she didn't want her parents to know about, and that's why she was sneaking out that late at night. And I do believe that she probably planned on coming back if she only had one pair of clothing. So maybe she felt like the friend that she was going to go meet, her parents wouldn't approve of. But I think that she left her house that morning to meet somebody that she knew. So I don't see a 9-year-old child leaving their home at 2:30 in the morning to meet somebody they did not know. So I believe she knew this person, and I believe she trusted this person. That would be the only explanation. And maybe they were going to meet in the woods or something, and she didn't want to be picked up in front of her house. So since they lived, out by the woods like that, see, there is no way in holy hell will I ever live in an area that has woods like that, because it's not safe, it's dangerous. I live in Las Vegas, Nevada, and all we have out here is nothing but desert, so you'll never catch me hiking, because if I ever go hiking, I would probably end up being a true crime story, because I am horrible with directions. Hiking has never been my thing. But that's how people disappear here in Vegas, because they go hiking sometimes by themselves and they get lost, and that's how they become a true crime story. But with her, I think that she was meeting somebody that she knew and she thought she trusted, and she didn't want her parents to know. So maybe she told them, that we can meet in the woods. That would be the only thing that I can think of why she would, leave her home at 2:30 in the morning. Yeah. But then again, in cases like these, you always have to remember too that it's always the person that you least suspect. Just because they cleared the parents does not mean that they're innocent. I think the mom is innocent, but that doesn't mean the dad's innocent, because we don't know much about his background. We don't know about the dad's background at all. It's always somebody that you least suspect. And once they cleared the parents, they moved on. What about the dad? I mean, he, it's usually somebody in the family. Yeah, and he's gotten away with murder for what, 24 years. But the only thing about murder is I don't think they have a statute of limitation like some other crimes do. Like certain crimes have a statute of limitations on them, like 10 years or 15 years, and they get away with it. But with murder, yeah, I don't think there's a time limit for that. But this is going to be interesting to see how this pans out. It's going to be interesting to see if they find her. Yeah, that's true too. Unless, but the only issue with this is that she left her house on her own. But it's quite possible that she could have walked in and seen something that she was not supposed to see, and that could have gotten her killed. But why did the dogs not have her scent around the shed? That's the whole thing. And why was her backpack found buried in garbage? They didn't even want to release that the backpack was found in a garbage bag, and in a couple of garbage bags, they said. They didn't even want to release that. And that was 100 miles away. But I believe they did that to try to throw investigators off. So that's probably why they did that part right there. But as far as the shed, she was never in the woods. She may have never been in the woods, and that may have been why, they never found her scent. Now, my question to you guys is, do you think that she was killed that same night, or do you think that she was held captive for a while before they killed her? In my opinion, I don't, kidnappers don't leave their victims alive for that long. So I think she might have been killed that day. But what do you guys think? Sorry, I got the munchies. Depends on the reason they took her. Do you want to be more specific with that answer? What do you mean by this answer? You want to be a little bit more specific? Killed the same day? Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. I mean, because because when you're living that deep in the woods or you're living that near, that close to the woods, it's quite possible that she saw something she wasn't supposed to see. Now, let me ask you guys this. Do you know if they are looking into the background of the homeowner of the house they're raiding right now? Or are they just more focused on, trying to see if they find her remains? No, you're fine. You're fine. This is a freedom of speech channel. You can say what you want. Even if your opinion does not go along with mine, you can feel free to speak your mind. I don't block or anything if you have a different opinion. I like different opinions. So it's kind of like a debate. We can talk about it. Yeah. Now, my next question is this. Into both. Now, do you think that that person would know why Asha left her house at 2:30 in the morning? I don't think, I mean, why would a happy child, just walk out of her house at 2:30 in the morning at 9 years old? A lot of kids that age are scared of the dark, and she just walked out of her home. She may have never even been in the woods. She may have been held captive somewhere near where she lived. But I just hope that, you know, that I mean, this is a sad case, but I my only hope is that she did not suffer. She did not suffer. It just sick. My whole thing is like, when you take somebody's life, and when you take somebody's life in a brutal manner, and you get away with it for 24 years or however long it is, how can you live with yourself knowing that you took that person's life and you still have one? And you didn't give that person a chance to live life. I mean, it says a lot about who you are as a character right there. Well, I mean, do you think that maybe it could have been the previous owner? I mean, not to change subjects, but I don't know if you guys know about what's going on in California with the line fires. I have been, covering that, and I have been staying on top of that. Like, we just found out how that fire got started. And I think witnesses saw a group of people pushing a burning car into the bank in the embankment. Oh, the same man owned house even before she went missing. Oh, okay. So we don't know what kind of a person he is. We don't know if he has a criminal record or anything. Okay. Well, for the family's sake, I really do hope that they find the closure that they deserve, because when you lose a family member, they're not knowing what happened, the always wondering if your child is safe. That's got to be really hard to deal with, especially because they've had to deal with it for as long as they have. And it's a sad ending, but at least they can bring her home now, and at least they can say goodbye to her if that is her. But yeah, let me go. I'm gonna go to the Facebook group I'm in, and I'm gonna read you guys some of the comment. I don't know if I'm allowed to do this, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Okay, so this was just 28 minutes ago. Yeah, I just showed that. This was 28 minutes ago. I just watched the new live update that the news just showed. There has been another location on the same property, another car, and this time the news did mention Asha. They did not say anything about any remains. Okay. Breaking news. Authorities in Cleveland tow car resembling vehicle sought in Asha degree case. And they still have not. Okay, let me put my. I'm gonna turn my camera on so you guys can see what I'm looking at right now. But let me put my hat on because I am not looking my best right now. Okay, so I'm gonna turn my camera on. So I'm gonna show you guys what I'm looking at and where I'm getting this from. So don't mind the way I look. I'm a hot mess right now. I just got off work. I'm just telling you guys right now. So I just want you guys to see what I'm looking at. Okie dokie. Okay, see that right there? Can you guys see it? Put a one in the chat if you can see it. Put a two in the chat if you cannot. So yeah, that's what that is. And then this is this one recent. I don't know that. You guys, so you can't see it? I don't know if that really looks like the car though, guys. What do you guys think? Yeah, because of the lighting. You guys think it looks like the car? I don't know though. But yeah, so that's where I'm getting that from. So let me. Okay. There's a video, so I'm gonna pull up the video. Keeping up.
Pick up for Edwards? Sorry, your online order isn't ready yet. Why? Our internet slows down at this time of day, so we're updated on this breaking news happening right now out in Cleveland County. We've been telling you about this massive multi-agency investigation and search unfolding in Shelby, and now there's been some new activity.
WBTV Chief Investigative Reporter Nick Oxford joins us now from the newsroom. Nick, you've been monitoring this development closely.
Yeah, Siobhan, John, we have been, of course, at this scene on Cherryville Road in Shelby since yesterday. We were the first yesterday. And just within the past hour, we learned about a second scene on that same large tract of land, that same property, but a second house just down the street from where we've seen all of that law enforcement activity centered. And so we just learned that there was a second search going on just down the street within the past hour. And here is what we saw. Let's take a look at that video coming into our newsroom. Again, just minutes ago. And here's
Okay, let me see if I can pull that up on here. No, I cannot. It's not on the news yet. Okay.
Here's what you're seeing, a tow truck towing out a green 1970 era vehicle. Again, this is what we saw our crew on the scene. First on this scene within the past hour, appears to be an older model green car. Again, pulled out from a second home on the same property where we know law enforcement, FBI, the Cleveland County Sheriff's Office has been searching since yesterday, again, all day today. Now, let's talk about why this car is so important and why investigators might be taking it away. Let's take a look to something that the FBI put out to the public in 2016.
See, that doesn't look like the same car.
The FBI said they were looking for a car that might resemble something like this in their search for that missing girl, Asha Degree. Of course, she's been missing for decades, and the FBI has been working tirelessly along with the Cleveland County Sheriff's Office to find that girl. We don't know exactly still today what exactly investigators are looking for at this property that they've been at since yesterday. But this is our first indication as they haul away a green car, 1970s. It's not an exact match at the time in 2016. The FBI said they were looking for either a green Thunderbird or a 1970s Lincoln Mark IV, or again, a Ford Thunderbird. So the car that we saw hauled away is not exactly the same, but very closely matching. And let's look at that video and show you one last time what our crew saw within the past hour. If we can, I don't know if we can go back to it, but this is a second scene where law enforcement has just towed out a green 1970s car. You see it there pulling out on the flatbed of that vehicle taken away after detectives were searching a home on the same property where they've been set up since yesterday. Again, we're still not getting any official indication from investigators, no statements yet coming from the FBI that this car is the same kind of car that they said they were looking for in the case of that missing girl, Asha Degree. But this is our first indications of what many in the neighborhood and around Cleveland County and our community have been wondering if this search had anything to do with Asha Degree. And well, folks, you see this green 1970s car being put away by investigators. We have crews on the scene.
But that doesn't look like the same car. Oh, really? But they did say that it didn't look like the same. I don't know. That does not look like the same car. But I couldn't pull it up on YouTube, so I don't know why I couldn't pull it up on YouTube. Yeah, not at all. I mean, even if you do it side by side, you could tell it's not the same car. But, so did you know that there were two houses on the same property? Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I didn't know there was two houses on the same property. So, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out and how this turns out. And I will definitely keep you guys updated on, what's going on with this case because I am very, yeah, I could tell. So she could either be buried at where they're looking at, or she could be somewhere around the second house. So I'm going to assume the second house may have been like for guests and stuff. Have they shown pictures of the house? Let me see if I can. Let me go to the group and see. Oh wow. So this is I'm gonna show you guys this. She's pissed. This is a post from Asha Degree's cousin. And she says, a lot of people have been reaching out about my cousin Asha Degree. I just want you all to consider our family and the mental emotional state before y'all start posting what you don't know. We have the right officials working with the family, so until we are confirmed, please stop and consider Asha immediate family and trauma. Y'all are helping us relive. We want to know just like everyone else, but we also know God will bring us confirmation. I don't know why she's getting so upset about it, but I'll show you. This is a post she made about an hour ago. You guys can see it. I mean, if it's news, we should be allowed to talk about it. So I don't know what the big deal is. And it's news. She's been missing for 24 years now. And we just want to know that, she was found so they can have some closure. But to get upset over it is no big deal, is silly to me. But then again, I have never been in a position where I have lost and where I've lost a family member in that way, or where oh, really? Oh, okay. I haven't lost a family member in that way, or had somebody disappear in my family, so I can't say that I don't know how they feel. Oh, is that why she's mad? Okay. So that's probably why oh, and this is Asha Degree's brother. Asha Degree's brother says, at this time, please stop the false narratives. Me and my family are still pursuing solutions surrounding my sister case. However, wanting to be the first to break the news with false narratives only prevents us from gaining the real answers. And I don't know how that is. How is that preventing them from getting the real answers? I'm confused by that comment. Yeah. Oh, okay. So I'll show you what Asha Degree's brother just said. So I guess that's what he goes by on social media is OB Degree. Because if I remember correctly, his actual name is O'Brien Degree. Yeah, they said that they have just found bones, but they haven't confirmed if it was her or not. So hopefully, because 24 years is a long time. So hopefully the family will have prayers, will have answers soon. And hopefully that is, at least they'll know, they'll finally know why she walked out of that house. I don't think we'll ever know the answer to that. But hopefully they will have closure soon. and it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. So I think they may have turned their backs on the father too soon. Um, she may have seen something she was not supposed to see. Because a lot of illegal stuff goes on in the woods, from what I hear. And that's why, I mean, besides wild animals, that would be another reason why I would never have a house anywhere near those type of woods. So if anybody has anything else to say, I can drop the link real quick. If you want to come up on the panel and say something, you can. All you need to do is just follow the StreamYard link. If no one has anything else to say. Okay, if no one has any. Does anybody have anything else to say? It's definitely going to be interesting.
It just showed that
this was 28 minutes ago. Sorry. I had my phone up. I didn't realize it. So if nobody has anything else to say, I will definitely keep you guys updated, and I will track the story, and we will see where we go from here. My thing is, did the investigators ever go to the to the inmate that claimed to know what happened to Asha? Yes, me too. That's what I'm hoping for. They definitely deserve to. They deserve to have closure, because I can't imagine what they've been going through for the last 24 years. I mean, this is some heavy stuff, and like they said, their mental and emotional state, they got to be all over the place at this point. So, but I will keep you guys updated. If James, if you hear of anything, let me know. You know where to find me. Leave it under the comment section, and I will come live and we can talk about it again. So with that being said, if nobody has any more comments, concerns, or questions, we will head on out of here. I've been live for over an hour. I usually try to stick to an hour, but that's fine. Please do. And as far as the police towing that car away, that looked nothing like the cars that we just saw. So, like that other person said, that's definitely a reach. I think they're wasting their time and their energy on that car. So, with all that being said, y'all have a wonderful day, and thank you guys for stopping by. Appreciate it. James, keep me informed, and I will keep coming live so we can talk about it.